All right, you know you hate them. Taxes. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Okay, I'll preface this by saying I was recently writing an ad. I was making an ad for the Epoch Times, and in the script for the ad, I said something disparaging about the IRS, and the editor, he said, "Well, no, don't do that. You know, you're going to alienate people." And I said, "Alienate people? Everyone hates the IRS. Like no one is positive about it." And he said, "No, you'd be surprised." And I was surprised. So I looked up the stats. 38% of America holds a favorable view of the IRS. Did you know that?
That's a shocking number.
And it's partisan.
Our country was founded on the basis of not liking to pay taxes.
Well, my question is, how many employees do they have?
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, it is partisan. So for Democrats, it's 53 favorable, 40 unfavorable. Republicans is 29 favorable, 64 unfavorable. So I guess even in the Democrats, like only 50% have a favorable view of the IRS and a third for the Republicans. But I'm shocked it's even 1%.
I bet that the 29% of Republicans are very high net worth tax attorneys.
Yeah, sure, right. You know, if you watching this are an IRS agent, I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. Anyway,
they're wicked smart.
Say that aside. They have to be. Taking that aside, property taxes. You own your house, but you still have to pay taxes on it for perpetuity. Unless you live in Florida, potentially, Cynthia.
Well, potentially, yeah. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced that he is looking to put on the ballot a question. It has to go, Congress or the local state legislature can't do it. It would have to be a state constitutional amendment that the local counties, cities can't collect property tax anymore. It would have to go that way, which would mean 60% of the country would have to vote in favor for this constitutional referendum for it to go through. Let's just hear how Governor DeSantis talked about it.
We're going to place a question on the ballot that is going to allow Floridians to be able to vote themselves relief from property tax. And as I said, my vision is, if you own your home, to truly own it, you have to own it free and clear of the government. You shouldn't have to pay rent to the government. Of course, so what do people say? Oh, that can't be done. You can't do that. And my question is why can't it be done? Look, the first place we went to with these audits was Broward County, Florida. They got 1.9 million people. They've had no net population growth over the last 5 years. Their budget's increased 60%.
So a couple of interesting things here. One is, if you hadn't thought about it before, it really does kind of make sense. You bought your house, maybe you've paid off your mortgage, you're clear and free, but you're still essentially kind of paying rent to the government on it. And the issue is when property values go up, the property tax goes up. And suddenly, this neighborhood, maybe it wasn't so expensive before. It happened a lot in COVID, right? People want to buy homes so they could do remote work. And in Florida, a lot of people moved there. So property values just went way up and taxes along with it. So that's part of what, sparked this.
It happened during COVID. In New York, when you had tons of people leaving Manhattan because they could work remotely, they went up to the Hudson Valley. And then you have little tiny communities in Ulster County and Orange County that now have their tax bills doubled, and the schools are putting in brand new football fields, and they're just going crazy, spending millions of dollars per pupil.
Well, the crazy thing is, it's like, is it different from renting at that point? Because you're paying taxes on the house. And in some places, they're crazy expensive. I know people have paid thousands for it.
Oh, yeah, and the landlord's jacking up the rent.
California, especially. It's crazy.
So in Florida, the average annual property tax is about $3,400. So around cents, so you're going to save that much. But your property value will go up because it's obviously going to be more attractive to buy places that don't have property tax. Yeah. So you're saying between $50,000 and $100,000 or $50,000 and $100,000 per house.
But over time, the time component is important.
But let's go back. The property tax thing. So just across the country, I had a look. Jersey has the top. Their average is about $10,000 per year, and the lowest was around $700 down in Kentucky?
700 per year?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably because Kentucky is so rural.
Arkansas, the average was $725 a year. People are paying property tax.
Jeez Louise.
But here's the thing. So part of me is obviously, if I buy a house, why should I keep basically paying rent on my house if I buy it? Why don't I just rent a place? So I'm never going to own it anyways. It's like you never own what you buy.
Well, what is the other case?
But the other
case is where you're not managing the property.
Well, this is what I thought about, because The other side is a bunch of banks or investment firms buy up like 1 million homes and pay nothing on them, just sit on them, and then
Well, so
drive
the
up
obvious
costs.
solution to that, though, if that was the only problem, is that you don't have a property tax if the property is your primary residence, right? If it's an investment
that's
property.
what, by the way, that is the proposal. Only if it's your primary residence.
All right,
so
all right, I like
businesses and
this then. I
investment
like this
property,
then.
they will still have to pay taxes. That's what the proposal is. So, but you might be wondering how are the municipalities going to pay for the schools and all the things that they pay for through that local tax? So that has to be part of the deal too. So it's a multi-step process. First, they have to get it on the ballot, and if voted for, then the legislature has to figure out how to raise the money. So the proposals on the table are, and it's like 43 billion a year in revenue.
Yeah. So how do you collect
what
$43 billion?
Hypothetically, they could pass that part of it and then just stall out on collection of new revenue.
I suppose they're going to make it a multi-part thing. Like it doesn't kick in until they figure out a way. So,
I see.
So anyway, the proposals on the table, the top proposal right now is expanding state sales tax. So that could be hiking it up. It's currently 6%, or expanding the number of things that it applies to.
They're going to charge you one way or the other.
Of course,
Of
yeah.
course. Well, they still need to raise
What
the
if
revenue,
they just
right?
decriminalize not paying
But a
property
difference
tax
is-
or something, right?
Kind of a difference is it'll be the state level doling it out to the municipalities. So at the same time, DeSantis has, there's a Doge-style audit going on of all the municipalities to see how outrageously, they're managing budgets, because nobody watches local politics, right? Like there's very little checks and balances at the local level. So they get away with all kinds of things. So that audit is going on too, to see who's not managing their funds well. But the other considerations, one is a state income tax, which also doesn't exist in Florida and is also in the Constitution. So that would require a constitutional amendment, which you can imagine wouldn't be popular. So that one's probably not going to fly. Another one is increased fees for, your services in the state, but people are like, oh, that's
I know,
great,
they'll
nickel and
get you
dimey.
one way or the other.
But here's one, tax on anything related to tourism.
Love it.
Hotel rooms, renting cars, all those
Well,
things.
there's already like an increase
An
in
increased
tax.
tax, but
Right.
that's not going to be enough. They won't be able to generate enough revenue from that. And the last one is a tax on real estate sales, taxing that. But the concern about that is, there's boom and bust, and that's not going to be a
It's not stable.
predictable, stable source of income. But there are other states that are looking into this too. You might be interested to know if you want to move to.
Well, I just want to stay in Florida for a sec.
Yeah.
So 60% need to vote in favor for this to actually become a constitutional amendment. I don't think it's going to pass.
Well, so they did try twice before, not exactly this, in 2022, 23, I can't remember, 2 years there. They tried, and it was to cap the amount that the property tax could go to not have this, surges when there's, a change in circumstance. So those both failed also. So who knows the fate of this? There'll be a lot of campaign dollars going into it.
This is like some barrel of crabs type thing. It's like you're not getting out of
Well,
it.
because it's landlord. It's basically landlords versus renters, and which side has the most people? Because this obviously affects landlords the most. But for renters, it would actually be worse, because if the property values go up, everybody wants to move to Florida. The rents are naturally going to go up too. So basically, the question is, are there enough landlords? And is the landlord lobby in Florida strong enough? I don't think so.
I don't know. It sounds like the people that they think are organizing and putting the money into shutting it down aren't the landlords. It's more like the NGO class it's not totally clear to me where the dividing lines are. The polls right now show that people are quite in favor of it, unless you pair that with, if your sales tax doubles, which is one of the numbers being floated around, from 6 to 12%, suddenly 70% of the people are not interested in this.
Well, but the funny thing about the real estate tax is that the stuff it funds, you can't actually cut for the most part, right? Like it's like that's like the real local stuff that particular tax goes to. I know you live and get, like, in some municipalities, they send you an itemized list of what your taxes are paying for. And
they've got to make up the dollars. It's not like
so
those
it's not like it's not like a DEI, like, oh, it's like this grant here, we can, this shellfish research, if they smoke too many cigarettes, what happens to their lung capacity type of stuff. It's like the actual snow removal on the street. You can't not have that tax. So you're gonna get hit one way or the other. Yeah, the question is, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's up to the Florida residents. I don't think it'll pass, but what do I know? I know nothing. Last thing, if the producer doesn't scream in my ear, you said some other states are.
Well, there's some other,
going
just
with
to
this?
know, in case you want to move there too, but Pennsylvania and Kansas both have proposals. There's a grassroots movement in Ohio, and Texas and Montana have been trying to slash their, not get rid of it, but slash anyway, their property tax.
All right, I know exactly what you're thinking. That was a great clip you just watched. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to follow, and also check out either these videos or maybe they're on this side, I don't know which side they're on, but we set it up so these are the videos that YouTube is suggesting to you as the best ones that you'll probably like the most. So check them out, this side,